So the hybrid in automotive world didn't always mean something green. It used to be that it was a hybrid, a combination of two things. And the Honda HR-V, sold between 2002 and 2004, was actually the forerunner.
You're like a school teacher. I'm learning so much. So let me see. Hybrid, recreational vehicle is what HR-V would have meant.
Exactly.
The interesting thing though, I mean, that segment now is so cluttered, it's so busy. Everyone wants to be in a hybrid.
Yeah.
So it's become like the bread and butter vehicle on our roads.
Absolutely.
Everyone has one.
Absolutely. And that's why we're here in Parkview at My Bread and Butter, because this is also, it's about being trendy. And Parkview is very trendy. We're in a trendy breakfast spot.
It's about being seen.
Absolutely.
So you need to look the part, and the HR-V certainly does.
Absolutely. For those looking to migrate from a hatch into a hot-looking small SUV, the HR-V is certainly an attractive proposition. Its coupe styling sits on a jazz platform, making it compact but stylish, and there are some interesting design elements like the hidden rear door handles. Drivers have a 100mm higher eye level in the HR-V to give them that elevated feeling. There's also a raised hip point to make getting in and out easier, and the car is decently spec'd with features like park sensors and reverse camera, smart entry and auto headlights, among other things. The boot is decent and can be expanded with Honda's Magic seats, also easy to access thanks to a low cargo floor.
Oh, I love those Magic seats. The Japanese and Honda in particular, so clever in terms of how they package.
It is.
And that gives it the versatility that you want in a hybrid.
Absolutely. I mean, it's on the Jazz platform, so it makes sense that those Magic seats carry over from there.
Very
the one
clever.
thing I didn't like, though, is the strange boot
No, you don't
covering.
have that boot lid.
No. Which I found it made it feel a little bit cheap, like they were weight saving on purpose.
Well, they are. I mean, the annoying thing is that it doesn't open, so you've either got to slide it out and
Yeah.
but easy to remove, which is good. But yeah, it was a bit really beautiful layout. I love the interior. For me, very simple in terms of where they've put their USBs. Hidden away, nice little pouch for you to put your phone in. I like that.
It's interesting you mentioned that because they've actually just created a massive new R&D center in Silicon Valley. So it's all about technological innovation at Honda, and that's not something you generally associate with the brand.
I would rather not waste money on that and spend more money developing small capacity turbos and in particular diesels, because that's one thing that's missing in the segment.
Fair enough. There's only a 1.5 and a 1.8 petrol. The outputs are not bad though. I mean, the 1.8 goes very nicely.
And we
I think
know
it's
those
efficient.
engines are really good. They never break, so you've got that Honda reliability, but I do think they're behind the curve.
They are, and actually at the launch they admitted as such. They said, they know they're a little bit behind with the turbos. They have a range of turbos they've developed, and they will arrive in South Africa probably next year. But of course we know the first ones arriving, the Civic Type R this year.
Okay, let's not get distracted. They never mentioned anything about diesel, because that for me, I mean, obviously both of the petrols only come with a CVT box, because that's what most consumers in the segment are buying.
Yeah.
But I also think a small diesel would work, and they just don't have that.
Yeah.
They've got the big diesels in their CRVs, which is a bit of a pity.
I do tend to agree with you.
Yeah, but that CVT works as good as a CVT box does.
Yeah, you found it a little bit annoying. I didn't mind it so much. I think maybe I drove it a bit more mummy-ish around town, whereas you were driving it on the highway.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, we were driving at the speed limit, surprisingly enough, and you hear it searching, but interesting they've put the step feature into it. So if you actually use the paddles, it's like a 7-speed simulated auto box, so quite clever in terms of that. But yeah, but for me, the ride quality is where this Honda is really good.
Absolutely, it's soft, it's squishy, it's very, very comfortable.
Only issue, so absorbs the bumps, a nice and comfortable drive, but when you do hit anything that's a severe bump, I found it quite choppy, which is quite surprising. So, yeah.
I didn't find that so much. I think the big issue for this car, to sum it up, is its competition. It is in a very tight market, it's what we always say. They've singled out Qashqai as their major competitor. If you look at price, they're starting with that 1.5 at $299. We haven't driven it, might be a little bit underpowered.
Yeah, I think it would be.
But I mean, $340 for the one we're driving. Well spec'd.
I find it actually, we never say this about Honda because you usually expect to pay a bit more, but I think that's actually so spot on in terms of price. If you look at the vehicles that are on offer, that's kind of where they're all playing, and there's a lot of common sense that goes with buying a Honda.
Well, that's why people buy Jazzes as well, isn't it? Because it's that peace of mind, that's why they love it. It really is, that is the bread and butter of Honda. But hey, with the HR-V, I suppose they're hoping that that's another piece of bread for them to butter. Speaking of which, where's breakfast?